Hi everybody, this is Ollie Cantos here, and I'd like to start off by welcoming all of you who are brand new to our community that we're building online. It is really just such a pleasure to have the opportunity to be in all of your lives and to continue to stay in touch by helping to support you with your various businesses that you may have, or if you happen to be working to run a brand new online business, or any business for that matter. So today, for this installment of the Visionary series, I want to talk with all of you about the importance of fighting against being average. Especially with all of us being in the business world, we always see the disclaimers. Results may vary, you see that sort of thing. And you see the income disclaimers, and you see all that kind of stuff, and you see that there are, in any business, whether businesses that you may be involved with or ours within the Empower Network, wherever, you can see people who are doing remarkably well, and then in other instances you see people who make no money, and then there's some who sort of are in between. But yet, if you were to ask anybody about whether or not they want to make money online, the obvious answer would be, of course they do. That's why they committed their money and their time and their resources and their hopes to something, because they were hoping that they would be making some money. And so, of course, whenever people take action by becoming a part of a business, whether it's a direct sales business or a bricks and mortar business by building something from scratch, or a multi-level marketing business, whatever, whenever people get involved, there are people who are individuals of different types. One example is there are people who come in and they hear the hype, they're all excited, they think they're going to make a lot of money, and then yet when it comes to their own actions, they basically try to do what they can, but then at the first sign of trouble, when things don't work out right away, or within a relatively short period of time, literally maybe a week or a month, or just hardly any real time at all, then they say the business doesn't work. And then after saying that, then because they still want to make money, they move on to the next thing, and they say, well, I made no money at that, it's a scam, etc. And so they move on to the next thing. And then so when they move on to the next business, they do the same thing. They try, they have their hopes, they say, oh, I love the way this compensation plan is, I love the products, etc. And then after that, they run into the same thing. And then they end up saying, well, I hate the direct sales industry, or I hate multi-level marketing. By the way, we're not multi-level marketing, but there are people who are, so that's why I'm speaking to that here. But there are people who would say that they tried it, and then it didn't work, and it's a scam, and only people at the top make money, and it's only for the elite, all that stuff, right? So that's one kind of person who joins and he becomes a part, or who goes into business, home-based businesses in particular. Another kind of person is somebody who comes in, they give it all they've got, and they may fail at first, but through the series of mistakes that they make, and through learning from those specific mistakes, they end up eventually doing well. Whenever there is a situation in which they run into trouble, they see that circumstance of adversity, and then they say, well, you know what, that's a sign that I'm obviously going to make it, because I'm still persisting. But yet, somebody else who might be in the very same circumstance might actually fall into the category I talked about earlier, where when things are rough, they'd say, well, this isn't really for me, or it's too hard, or the leaders must be scamming me, or they're making false claims, all sorts of things. So between these two sets of people, the first group where they give up so easily, and then the second group where they keep persisting, somewhere in between there are averages. And then that's where we come up with the average, where results may vary. There are some people who make a lot of money in business, some who make nothing, and some who make some, right? So the key for our purposes today, because all of you are part of the visionary team, I want you to imagine and visualize how all of you can beat the law of averages. If you choose to. And I'm here also to tell you that whatever business you may already be in now, if you approach it where you have really negative attitudes about your circumstances, and when things get rough you just decide, well, it's not for me, then you end up putting yourself in a situation where you just get frustrated, and where you just feel like, you know what, it's just never going to work, this stuff doesn't work for me, I should just go off and do something else. The tough thing is that whenever people jump from opportunity to opportunity, it's not the opportunities that are the problem. It's the mindset of such individuals who think that their ticket to wealth somehow lies in some other thing that is somehow easier. But I'll tell you, when it comes to doing well, and to making sure to succeed with business, that if people don't have the persistence, or if they run away because of the first sign of trouble, or even the 10th sign of trouble, where they try and it just doesn't seem to work for them, if they tend to run away, then it just is a difficult no-win situation, because it's a no-win situation when if any of us feel that the solution to our money issues is somehow to look for the best opportunity, but yet if within ourselves we don't work, or we tend to blame circumstances, or we don't have a good sponsor, or we don't have a good product. I mean, well, first the product has to be good, okay? I mean, we have to really believe in what we have, but if ever, let's say the compensation plan is good, or whatever, if we tend to blame our circumstances for our failure, and if as a matter of course we end up just saying, well, you know what, that didn't work for me because it's just I'm being misled or whatever, you know. For those individuals that they just have got to know that there needs to be a radical change in mindset there. When you look at any of the people who build businesses, whether online or offline, the commonality with all of those who are successful is that they went through moments of struggle, and they had obstacle after obstacle, but they persisted, and because of their persistence, they ended up succeeding eventually. When we see that people succeed, it's easy for those who aren't doing the research to say, well, you know, that's just mostly the ones who make money are those who are the elite, who are at the top, like let's say if it's a multi-level or whatever. But that's not true, because if that were the case, then nobody would make money coming in, and it would be, you know, that just wouldn't make any sense. But instead, when we have an alternative way of thinking, and we fight against being average, then we need to know these pitfalls ahead of time, so that we don't run into the same problems. And for that matter, when it comes to people who are disgruntled because they're involved with something and it doesn't work, for them to just say all sorts of things, you know, just run away from those folks, because whenever people end up having a negative way of thinking, it can poison our own success because of somehow thinking that the failure that those individuals experience will be the failure that we'd experience. But there's nothing that necessarily proves that. It doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't do our homework. We should look into every opportunity, and we should look at the pitfalls, the strengths about the business, how it matches our willingness to work and persist, along with the history of the leaders and how well the leaders have done, etc. We have to always do our homework. But beyond doing the homework, assuming the company checks out, then don't blame the company if you don't succeed. That's the truth, whether you're looking to get involved with this niche, or if you are involved with something now for your own companies. Don't blame the company if you don't succeed when you're not doing what you should be doing. That's just the bottom line. So here's how to fight against being average. Don't do that. Don't have that sort of way of thinking. I mean, so many people do that because that's what the average person does. But we have to understand that we, as entrepreneurs, have got to be in this for the long haul. We've got to do whatever it takes to be successful, and we've got to make sure to persist against whatever adversity we have. We are going to have moments of adversity. There are going to be some times when we make some mistakes. We need to embrace the lessons we learn from those mistakes. And then on top of that, we need to take action to make sure to do things differently next time. But we should not just simply say, after we've made a mistake, blame ourselves on whatever mistakes we've made, and then just say, or blame someone else, and say, well, that means I'm not going to make it. That's not what is the determining factor with our success in anything. The determining factor of what makes us successful is the extent to which we persist. And the extent to which we persist properly. If we are consistent, but we're consistent in the incorrect way, then that means that we're doing things wrong continuously. Like, let's say you're consistent in having negative thoughts about your ability, your potential, or about the leaders of a business or whatever. Well, you know what? Then you can jump from opportunity to opportunity, but you'd still fail. And then at some point, eventually you'll be burned out on this industry, and then you'll just say, well, that's just a scam. Nobody really makes money at that, etc. I mean, heck. Why be that way? Don't be that way. It's against your interests to be that way. It just is. And I like telling things to you directly and straight, and I'm telling you that it's against your interest to think that way. Whatever business you're in, hold on to what you've got, cherish what you have, and persist at it. But beyond the persistence, look at the bonus structure and see if for the same amount of work you can actually achieve better results. Like with us, with the Empower Network, you get 100% commissions. You literally get paid per product. You get $25 per affiliate for the basic membership, $100 for Inner Circle per month per affiliate, depending on what level of commitment they have. Then plus there's the one-time product purchases, $500, $1,000, $3,000. Well, with the cost, but then with that you make $500, $1,000, or $2,500, whatever the product happens to be. But see, the thing is, it's for the same amount of work. So if you can actually position yourselves to make the most amount of money possible by going all in with us, and then by sticking with the commitments that we talk about, the 8 core commitments, then you end up succeeding. And if you don't stick with the 8 core commitments, then you fail. That's just basically it. You either do it or you don't. You can spend your time trying to battle it and say, well, I would rather do it this way. Well, heck, you know what? You're your own independent business. You can do whatever the heck you want. But why waste your energy trying to go with the system that's somehow not proven when you haven't made any money, when there are people who've done well in this business, who have a system, who followed it, and who've made money. Might as well capitalize on all the great stuff that's been happening to leverage your time. Why waste all of your energy on stuff when some of the various pitfalls from other approaches have already been ironed out? I mean, wow, it's just amazing just to think about that you have within this a system where you can actually do well, building on a proven marketing system that has worked. And then when you have the attitude of conquering adversity by being real and being true to yourself, and by knowing that whenever things don't work, it's not the opportunity that's the problem. It means that we ourselves need to grow more. And we need to put ourselves in a mindset where we still see our success even though we don't have it right in front of us that moment. We have to be grateful for what we expect to have. And then when we have that attitude of being grateful for what we have, even though, and for the success that we imagine, then that's what creates the mindset that attracts more of the people, events, and circumstances that make things work. We can't just go by what we physically see in front of us at the moment. If we do, then we limit ourselves, because imagine if you only were in a situation where you would be excited about your business when things worked out well or when you were already making money. Well, people who start off in business frequently, including in bricks and mortar businesses, they start off and they make nothing. Sometimes it takes up to 5 years before they turn a profit. But they still stick with it because they know that with hard work and persistence that they're going to make it. This is the same thing. I mean, even when you have a business where you work from home, you still have to take, thank you so much, you still have to take your businesses seriously. It is not a hobby. If you want to make real money at any business that's home-based, it's not a hobby. It has to be something that you take seriously. If you don't take it seriously, then you're not going to make any money. Or you're not going to make a lot of money. Excuse me. So here's the action assignments for today. Okay? The first thing that I'd like for you to do is to do an honest assessment of your own attitudes regarding business. If you only expect to do well from the get-go, and if you have a low tolerance to mistakes, then that mindset needs to transform. And the way you do that is by reading PsychoCybernetics. That book will help you see where your limitations are and will help you get past them. So that's the first action assignment. If you haven't done so already from previous action assignments that I've given regarding that, read PsychoCybernetics and understand where your limits are so you can remove those out of your life, so that way you could free yourself to succeed to every level possible. That's the first action assignment. The next thing is for you to look at the things that have been limiting to you and to realize with a certainty that just because you've had adversity in the past doesn't mean that you're not about to make a breakthrough. You can't just let adverse circumstances dictate how you feel about your business. Ask any bricks and mortar entrepreneur. They will all tell you that they've run into moments of struggle. But does it mean that their business isn't legit? Does it mean that they somehow don't have the ability to succeed? No. It just means that they have to just work on changing their approach based on where they are in their lives. So that's the second thing. And the third action assignment is to look at the Empower Network. Look at what we've got. Look at our superior online products and understand that because of the amazing bonus structure that we have, how you can bring in several hundred to several thousand a month within several months. Again, results may vary. And they do vary. Are you going to be the one who will just fall by the wayside because things don't work for you initially and then you just blame it on the system? If you are, then I'll tell you, don't worry about getting involved with this or anything else like this. Just go and have a job. Go work at a job where you get paid every hour. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's a worker mentality, you want to have that way of thinking, and you don't want to see that entrepreneurialism also involves risk. It involves doing your homework, and it involves persistence, and it involves weathering the storm adversity-wise. You have to understand that as an entrepreneur that we have moments of difficulty, but we shouldn't classify them as struggle per se and think, oh my gosh, this is just so hard. I just haven't made any money. It's been a month. This is so hard. I've approached 5 people, or I have 5 leads on my list. And I don't know why I'm not making money yet. You know, I mean, we just have to look at our metrics and see if we're following the system that we're taught. If we don't follow what was taught, then that's why we're not making it, because we're not following what was taught. But if we do follow what was taught, and we do it consistently, and we have the right belief and attitude behind us, that's what really succeeds, and that's what really makes things work. Wow, just imagine what that can do for you whenever you persist like that. So look at the Empower Network. EmpowerNetwork.com/leadership circle is where you can stay affiliated with me. And so the last thing is, I want you to make a decision. I want you to get involved and join this business. I want you to get out your credit card and get involved with us right away, knowing that when you put in the right level of work and attitude and persistence and perspective in a way that's empowering to yourselves, that you will succeed. So that's it for today, and I really appreciate you for watching, and thank you for accompanying me along this walk today, and I will see you soon.